Hey everyone, this is Daniel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Power Apps convert cents into words. And this is all in response to a question that was asked in my YouTube channel. So here is a quick review of what we're going to build. So in the Canvas app, I have a few cent values already populated, but based on the nickel, 5 cents becomes 1 nickel, 10 cents becomes 2 nickel, and 61 becomes 12 nickels and 1 cent. For dime, the 5 cents remains the same, but 10 cents becomes 1 dime, 50 becomes 5 dimes, but 61 becomes 6 dimes and 1 cent. For the quarter, 5 cents remains the same, 10 cents remains the same, but 50 becomes 2 quarters, and 75 becomes 3 quarters. So stick around, because even though this is for a very specific topic, there is a lot we can learn over here of how the different power effects functions work and how we can accomplish the overall necessity. But first, here's my intro video. So before we start building the Canvas app, here's a quick overview of the power effects functions that we're going to use. So first one we're going to use is the round function, which basically rounds a number. The second one is the mod, because that returns the remainder of a division. And then the third one is an if function, because you and I know that's a very common one. It helps to determine whether a condition is in a set and is true or false. But specifically about the round one, we are actually going to go and use a round down, because what this does is it always rounds down to the previous lowest number towards 0. So for example, if I did a round down of 8.6, even though it is a 0.6, it is going to round that off to 8. Or if I even did a round down to 12.37, even though it is 0.37, it is going to round that down to 12. So these are the key power effects functions that we're going to use. Now let's go and build that Canvas app. So what you see over here is the overall shell Canvas app. And I call it shell because it just has the bare design. It doesn't have all the important meats and potatoes of it that we're going to build together. But there are a few things that are already there. So let me show you what those are. First of all, in the app, specifically in the app onStart power effects function, I've gone ahead and created 2 collections. And the reason I've done this is because right now I want everything inside the app, because let's face it, I could have gone ahead and connected a data source which would give me all of this. But for the sake of this demo, I just wanted all the data over here. By the way, a full copy of this app is available for you, and you can take a look at that in the description below. All right, so back to the app over here. In the app, when the app starts, we're going to go ahead and populate 2 collections. One is called the collection cents or call cents, and the other one is called collection cent types. So these are the 8 different examples of the different cents which are automatically going to get converted into the word values. I've just gone and put in some examples over here, and I really thought through this because I want a single cent. But then I also wanted a 4, which is a 4 was 1 less than the actual dime that's going to be there. So I've put some thought process in how I came up with these values. So just want to call that out. And then the collection for the cent types, well, that's the 3 ones that we're going to use: nickel, dime, and quarters. And by the way, this is all in the North America side, where a nickel is actually 5 cents, a dime is 10 cents, and a quarter is 25 cents. All right, so let's just make sure that you are aware of all of that. So we've got the collection over here built. Because the collection is built, and in my case, I go ahead and click on the app, I click on the ellipsis, and I do a run on start, it automatically goes ahead and populates this one gallery and also this radio function. So that way you can see that this radio button over here is going ahead and actually pulling its items directly from the collection cent types. Over here in the gallery, which is actually a vertical gallery, its data source is also from that collection cents. Starting to make sense? All right, so now that you know this, let's start focusing on those power effects functions. So I want to start by this gallery over here. I call it my cents gallery. And specifically on the gallery, I want to focus on the OnSelect property. And over here, we are going to start to leverage the power effects function, which is the if function. So I'm going to go and put in an if. I'll go and select that with the IntelliSense. I'm going to go one step down. And the first thing I want to start telling is, what is it that you're selecting? Are you selecting a nickel or a dime or a quarter? Because based on any of those selections, the following steps are going to be completely different. So this is where we decide, hey, what have you selected in that radio control? So I'm going to go ahead and put this commenting in first so that I will already know which one or the other ones are. Because right now I'm going to go ahead and put in some formulas. I need to know these formulas apply to nickels. And once you understand the nickels one, all the other ones for the dime and the quarter, that'll start to make sense. So here we go, right? The first power effects formula which I'm going to put for the nickels is the condition. Hey, that the cents radio button that you selected, if it is of a type nickel, then go ahead and create a variable. I'm going to call that as a var temp round. Go ahead and round down the actual value that you have selected, round it down based on 5. Now divided by 5, why? Because it's a nickel. And then comma 0 because that's a power effects function. So as you can see in the set function, we are going ahead and doing a round down because that's the power effects function, round down divided by 5 because it's a nickel, and we are going to go and save that value into a variable using the set function with the var temp round, okay? So that's the important thing. But we're not done over here because I want to go and put in double ampersands and also put in the second formula. Because over here, we are going to go and now create the second variable, which is the var temp mod. And over there, we are going to use the mod function, again, for whatever is the gallery value selected, comma 5, and then after that there is a comma. This mod will actually go and say that if it has been divided by 5, is there any remainder over there? Because other things need to be done to the remainder. It's a very important thing that you understand these two power effects formulas, the round down and it's divided by 5. Why 5? Because it's a nickel. And then also the mod that we are doing, again, for the value 5, because again, it's a nickel. So in my case right now, I'm just going to go ahead and close this so we can actually do some testing. But we'll later on come and add the same thing for the dimes, and we'll also same thing for the quarters. And for that, we'll do a little faster. We'll do a copy and paste. But I want to show you what this achieves over here. All right. So we've actually done on the OnSelect property of this gallery. Now I want to go ahead and focus on a label and do all the power functions on that label. In my text control, which is the text control that I've added inside this container, in its text property, that's where I'm going to go and put some if functions in and start calculating all the values, all right? And there's going to be some conditions over there. So the first thing that I want to do is a very simple one. And what I want to basically say that if you only have 1 cent, then make sure that's the only value that you show, that it's a 1 and it is a cent. It is not cents, not a plural. So how do we go and do that? So, well, that's a very simple formula that we want to put in. It's a power effects one. Again, it all starts with an if condition. And I'm going to say if this cents gallery selected. So I'm going to say cents gallery dot selected right there dot value. If its actual value equals 1, then go ahead and show me what that value is. So I'm going to go and say the same thing, gallery dot selected dot value. All right, so go and do that. And then ampersand, and then go ahead and put in cent. Make sure you don't put in cents over here because remember the value is always going to be 1. And for now, I'll just go and close it because I just want to test it. So by default, we always have the first item of the gallery selected, which is 1 cent. But over here, it is already showing you 1 cent. So for example, if I were to go and click on the other ones, it disappears because the condition is not met. But if I go back and select this one, it's like, hey, the value is 1, so it's going to be 1 cent. So I know this is a very easy one to start with, but it's a very important one because over here, you've got to start with that basic one, that if the value was just 1, this is the outcome that you want to see, because it's important that we understand the singular and the plural, singular being a cent versus a plural being cents, plural over there. So now that you understand this, let's go one step deeper. So I'm going to go out of this. I'm going to open up again, click on that text. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to move this bracket down because we're going to be using that a lot. And I'll go and put in a comma. And now let's go and put in some other conditions. I'm going to say if var temp round equals 1, and in my case, I'm saying another and to the condition. So it's going to be 2 ampersands. And if var temp mod equals 0, then go ahead and show me what that var temp round value is. Go ahead and show me that. And we're going to go ahead and put in another ampersand because I want to go ahead and see some spaces. I'll go ahead and do that. Another ampersand. Go me what was the selected value. What was the actual cents type radio selected value? That was basically, it was in cents. So I'm going to go and select it. That's it's actually of a type. And then I'll go and close this as well. So we can start testing this one. Oh, I already got a close bracket, so I need to remove this one. So we can actually see what is going on over here. So I've got 1 cent, which works, and this is of a type nickel. So if I go and click on 4, or if I click on 5, if I click on 5, it is working. It is actually now working, saying that, hey, this is 1 nickel. See how that works over here? It doesn't work for 4 cents because the mod value is not 0 over here. The mod value is 0 for 5 because, hey, if 5 divided by 5, that would be 0 over there. So it's working on this side, but it's not working over here. So we've got to now go and start tweaking it, all right? So now, but you're getting the idea is how these formulas are working. So let's build upon that formula again, all right? So I'm going to come back again, click on my text, and here we need to go ahead and add a few more of these values. And this time I'm just going to go and paste it because you've already seen me type the first one. You understand the logic of it, but let's actually walk through what it means. Now in the new one we've added, again, it's var temp round, but not equal to 1. It's greater than 1. But the var temp mod is still equals to 0. And if that is the case, go ahead again, show me what the roundup value is. Basically go and show me what was the selected type, whether it was a nickel or what it was. But in this case, it'll be plural because it'll be more than 1. And therefore, we are adding the plural value for S. So check this out. Okay, I'm going to go and now check this over here. Since it is for the nickel, well, we've got the 1 cent, which works. We've got the 5 nickel, which is 1 nickel. But if I go and click on the 10, watch this, it becomes 2 nickels. You see this S showed up over here. So do you see now how that second actually formula that we added is taking care of these plurals as well? It's pretty awesome, right? But let's not stop over here. Let's build on it. So here we go. I'm gonna go back over here. I'm gonna click on that formula. The letter control, expand this a little bit. In the formula, I'm gonna put in a comma, shift, enter, and here's the next formula. So it's very similar to the top, except that now the roundup value again will be greater than 1. But then the temp mod will be 1. And in that case, go ahead and show me that it's going to be plural, but also provide me the temp mod and cent. So in this case, some of the examples that you're going to see over here are as follows. Let's go back to our preview. Here's 1 cent. We already saw that the 5 cents work, the 10 cents work. Check this out. The 61, let's see if that works. If I go and click on that, there you go. It's 12 nickels and 1 cent. So do you see how this new formula now kicked in? Is that we were able to go for that scenario. It is the and then whatever is the mod formula, the remainder which comes in, add a cent to it. See how it's making sense over here? This is very important that you start understanding this one. But let's again build on this. So I'm going to go ahead and add this last one over here. Well, the last complicated one. As you will see, it's very similar. Always compare this one with the top one. So again, the var temp round greater than 1. Again, the var temp mod greater than 1. And in this case, we are going to go ahead and get all of this information in. But since the roundup also now mod is greater than 1, because remember, previously it was equal to 1. Therefore, it was a cent. In the new case, the var temp mod is also greater than 1, which means we may have more lingering cents, and therefore it's a plural. So it is now cents. So let's check this out. I want to do another test over here. So we go back and we go and do a play. 1 cent is play, is still on the nickel. We know that there will be a 1 nickel. We will have 10 nickels. We went ahead and tested the one over here for 15 nickels as well. It's the last one. Check this out, all right? 99, which means now I've got 19 nickels and 4 cents. The cents is plural. Because remember the 61, we had 12 nickels and 1 cent. But moment I have more than 1 cent, which in this case is 4 cents lingering after we've already determined how many nickels there are, we are putting in the plural value over here. So do you understand how complicated we are going and making this now? It's really working so powerfully. But there's one other piece that is remaining. So check this out. This 4 cents over here, well, 4 doesn't fall under either the nickels, or it's not going to fall under the dime or the quarter. So we've got to take care of that 4 as well. And for that, we add a very simple PowerFX function. Go ahead and click on the X. I'm going to go and click on the text again, expand it. And you are not going to believe it, but the way to solve that is basically just go ahead and show me whatever that value is and add cents to it. So in this case, if I select 4, it is first going to verify, hey, did all these other 4 conditions meet? And if they did not, then just show me what that cent value is and put in a cents over here, because we know it's not going to be 1. If it was 1, that's 1 cent, it'll just be a cent. We know that it's not going to meet any of these other 4 categories. It is only going to meet anything between less than 5 and greater than 1, which means it will be only 2, 3, or 4. And if it's 2, 3, or 4, show me those numbers and put in cents. Do you understand how simple but how effective this is? But now let's go and do a full test of all the nickels over here. So I'm going to go and close out of here. Let's go and do a preview. So now with the nickels selected, if I click on 1, it is 1 cent. If I click on 4, hey, that's working. It is 4 cents. If I click on 5, 1 nickel, singular nickel. 10, 2 nickels, plural. You see how awesome this is? 50, 10 nickels. And then if I were to go to 61, 12 nickels and 1 cent. 75, 15 nickels. 99 is 19 nickels and 4 cents. Nickels is plural and cents is plural. So this, if you understand this, you've pretty much figured out 90% of how this app works, because now we just got to go and do the same thing for the dime and for the quarter. So let's actually speed up some of that, but at least I want to show you what are the other power effects functions that adds over there. So let's start with dime first. So I'm going to go and X out over here because we've got to start with the gallery and the galleries on select. So I got to go and expand this. And now after the last line over here, I need to put another comma. I'm going to hold my shift button now and I'm going to hit enter so we can actually make some space. And here is the next formula. Very similar to the one that we did for the nickels. So I'm going to actually go and put in some comments so I see what it is. And you can see side-by-side comparison. It's literally just a copy and paste. But for the nickels, a nickel is the value 5. 5 cents makes 1 nickel. And so for the dime, well, that's actually 10 cents. And therefore, I'm getting this value. So you can see, you could literally just copy and paste, which is exactly what I did. Everything that I work for a nickel works for the dime as well. The logic works, except that I need to go and make sure that if it is selected value type as dime, put in the text time, and then change these values, these numerical values from 5 to 10. But you know what the beauty is? That this is the only change we've got to make, because in our text, over here, the formulas that we have applied, as you can see, it's only referring to these two variables. Over here, I really do not need to know if it is a nickel or if it's a dime or if it's a quarter, because the OnSelect of the gallery is taking care of that. So check this out. Now, if I go and do a test, if I switch over, hit the radio button from nickel, switch it over to a dime, let's see how these are going to react. So 1 cent for a dime is going to be 1 cent, all right? The 4 cents, well, that's going to be 4 cents. But if this was a nickel, that 5 cents would actually turn into 1 nickel. But hey, we've selected dime. So if you think like I'm thinking, this one over here is only going to show 5 cents. It is not going to show a dime. So check this out. If I go and click on this, there you go. It only showed me 5 cents because we have selected the dime option. And remember, dime is divided by 10. But if I selected this number 4 value, 10, that will change into 1 dime. And there you go. It is 1 dime. It's not showing plural. But if I go to the next one, which is 50, that should be 5 dimes. Let's take a look. There you go. See, 5 dimes. Does this not blow your mind? That the formulas, once you understand it, is actually pretty straightforward. But how powerful it is, because not only are we deciphering whether it's a nickel or a dime, but we also factoring in if it's plural, more than 1. So there you go, 5 dimes over here. So 61 is a great example. If I click on 61, that's 6 dimes and 1 cent. It's only 1, so the cents is not plural. But if I go to 75, well, that's 7 dimes and 5 cents. And then 99 again goes to 9 dimes and 9 cents. See how it is making sense? So now you understood how the dime works. The quarter is very simple. So let's go and add that as well. I'm going to X out over here from the preview. I'm going to go back into our gallery. In the gallery, for the galleries on select, I'm going to click on that so we can actually see the PowerFix function. I'm going to click on it and add a comma, shift, enter, enter. And here is the other thing that I'm pasting. So as you can see, for the quarters is the exact same, or it's similar to the dime and the nickel. The two changes that we did is that we've got to go and get the condition that what was the selected type, the cents type radio, which is the cents type radio. Well, the cents type which was selected is of a type quarter. So I've put that over here, and quarter equals 25 cents. So therefore I've got 25, 25. Everything else is the same. And over here, like I said, even for the dime, this is the only other addition that I have to do. This is only other manipulation of the formula I have to do. I don't need to do anything else to the text, because this one, all the power effects apply for all these other, whether it's a dime or if it is a quarter or if it is a nickel, it works for all of them. But ultimately, let's test. So I'm going to go and click on over here, and I'm going to go make sure it's on quarter. So 1 cent, well, for the quarter will remain 1 cent. 4 cents, it's going to remain 4 cents. 5 cents will do that. Even 10 cents will do that. Remember, this is where the dime turned into one dime, but we are in quarter. So if you guessed it, if I click on 50, I should get 2 quarters. And I do. And it's plural too, because it's doing the math. It's dividing 25, which is the 50. It's dividing that by 25, so it's giving me 2. But it realizes this is 2, so it's putting that S over here. So 60, well, that'll be 2 quarters and 11 cents. Cents is also plural. 75, well, that's easy. That's just going to be 3 quarters. But because there's no cents, the cents parts disappears over here. And 99, again, that's 3 quarters and 24 cents. Isn't this awesome? So like I mentioned at the beginning, that this Canvas app is for a very specific situation. However, after you go ahead and build it, or at least view this video, it actually opens up your knowledge about how to go ahead and use these power effects functions, specifically the round down, the mod, and the if functions. And when they collaborate together, the synergy is truly spectacular. Now keep in mind that I have this fully demo app built and ready, and you can take a look at that at the description below. But other than that, hopefully this video was useful to you. And as always, keep using Power Apps Canvas apps. Hello, hello, hello. So if you like this video, go ahead and click on that subscribe button and smash that like button. Also, if you have a few extra seconds, can you go ahead and put in a comment? Either say something nice or give me ideas for my next video. And until then, see ya.